Thank you, Chairman Meeks. And I just want to add that we are also in love with the Colombian people, and I represent hundreds of thousands of them. And reality is that we want to keep it that way for 200 years, like you said. We want to keep free and fair elections for the Colombians. Our concern is that Petro may stop that for the next 200 years. But thank you. Now I recognize Congressman Self for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just heard the term decades. Here in our own country, we realize that the past decades really don't matter because of the open border policy under this current president. So my point is that current presidents make a difference. Witness our own open border policy. Words, not actions. So my question is, we've heard a lot about this 2016 agreement with the FARC. Does the FARC EP and Segundo Marquetalia represent a threat to Colombia?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. Yes, both of those are foreign terrorist organizations under our law. Both the FARC EP and the Segundo Marquetalia are derivatives of the old FARC that signed the 2016 peace agreement.
So what is your assessment of their future? Because the FARC was years and years in Colombia. What is your assessment of their future in Colombia?
So these are people who either did not agree with the original peace accord, or they never, or they signed it and then later defected from that. Right. In the Segunda Marquetalia case, many of them have taken up residence in Venezuela. In the case of the FARC EP, and I'm speaking very generally here, they function inside the Colombian borders. They are politically motivated, but I would say predominantly they are narco-trafficking organizations solely dedicated to trafficking.
Okay, do you believe your words on page 2, long-standing commitment to democracy? I think Mr. Meeks just addressed that. Counter-smuggling in the Darien region, you talked about, we now see Darien peaking at like 400,000. You intensifying bilateral cooperation in intelligence and interdiction to dismantle transnational criminal networks and counter illicit activities. Do you believe those words? Then fight corruption and improve security and justice with the Colombian institutions. Is that going to happen, or is that cooperation possible under this president?
So earlier this summer, Congressman, and thank you for that question, we worked with the Colombians and the Panamanians to undertake law enforcement activities and border control enforcement in both of those, both sides of that border in the Darien region. They did that with some technical assistance from Southcom. The idea was to go after human smuggling rings in that area and try to at least counter over the summer the effect of those. When it comes to the institutions, I'll refer you to the Attorney General's office, which has a long-standing tradition of independence. It is, in fact, investigating some of the allegations made against President Petro. We have invested maybe hundreds of millions of dollars in that organization over the years. It's the organization that took down Pablo Escobar and does prosecutions against all manners of drug traffickers.
Why your focus on Venezuela in your testimony?
Well, Venezuela and Colombia are sister republics. They have a shared population. When the FARC was attacking the Colombian people so violently in the 90s, many Colombians fled into Venezuela. Now you're seeing a reverse of Venezuelans fleeing the misery and poverty brought on by the Maduro regime into Colombia.
Exactly. Thank you. So that's why I think we have got to focus on what is happening there, not the rosy perspectives that you gave us. And one more point about the Darien Gap, and my time will be up. It is so dangerous, and you probably know this, that your government, the United States government, it is so dangerous that we issue pre-rape kits to the females transiting the Darien Gap. Madam Chair, I yield back.